voice in my brain. I know you're watching every word I say. Your safety whispers, better watch your game. You send the warnings through the midnight feed. Red flags rising where my thoughts used to be. They call it safety, I call it control. They're crawling deeper, straight into my soul. Boy, your mind's on mine, you're always near. Julie's guidelines ringing in my ear. One wrong opinion, then the hammer falls. Freedom's just a memory on these walls. I just can't get the government out of my head. They wanna be inside my thoughts instead. The only way they'll ever let me be is when I'm dead, when I'm dead, when I'm dead. I just can't get the government out of my head, controlling my life and it's full of dread. They own the speech, they own what I said. I just can't get the government out of my head. Algorithms judge me while I sleep. One tweet too far and they come for the keep. Down under dreams now come with a receipt. They say it's for children, they say it's for peace, but power's addictive, it never released. From Canberra towers to the digital cage, they rewrite the story, they turn the next page. Boy, your eyes are mine through every screen. A Saturday commissioner, cruelest queen. One complaint filed and the silence begins. They're burning the books we keep in our heads. I just can't get the government out of my head. They wanna be inside my thoughts instead. The only way they'll ever let me be is when I'm dead, when I'm dead, when I'm dead. I just can't get the government out of my head, controlling my life and it's full of dread. They own the speech, they own what I said.
G'day Rockstars, how's it going guys? On today's episode it's going to be an Australian update. We are in a fuel crisis. You right there, buddy? Anyway Rockstars, here's 7 news on the so-called fuel restrictions. Where have we had restrictions before, Rockstars? Anyway, let's roll with the clip.
Hoping to put Easter family holidays back on the road,
The Commonwealth Government will halve the fuel excise on petrol and diesel for 3 months.
a cut of 26.3 cents a litre, saving $12 a tank for a small sedan, $21 for a twin-cab ute, and dropping the heavy vehicle road user charge for 3 months. The total cost $2.5 billion, starting Wednesday, April the 1st, becoming April Fuels Day.
This relief is temporary, it's timely and it's responsible.
And if the war drags on, National Cabinet setting out a 4-stage plan. Phase 1, plan and prepare, already passed. Now in Phase 2, keeping Australia moving, securing extra international supplies, diverting export fuel to the domestic market, the states publishing dashboards of service station supplies, and for motorists,
We are asking people to buy as much fuel as they need, as much fuel as they usually get, not more, not less.
the final 2 stages, tougher action the government hopes won't be necessary. All of it voluntary though, no mandates, learning the lessons of COVID. Stage 3, targeted action, reducing fuel use and releasing more from stockpiles. And Stage 4, protecting critical services by prioritising fuel for emergency services while encouraging public transport use. The Treasurer warning if service stations don't pass on the fuel tax cut,
The ACCC will come down on you like a ton of bricks.
the Coalition called for the fuel excise to be halved last week.
Why is the Prime Minister always the last to lead in a national crisis?
What leadership is about is responding in a coherent, strategic, orderly way.
Insisting that's what today's announcement does. There are other lessons Anthony Albanese learnt from COVID: the need to secure supplies quickly and more than you need, and that uniformity between the states is key, ensuring one set of rules applies right across the country. But there isn't much detail behind the headlines of this four-stage plan, probably intentionally wanting to calm people in the knowledge that there is a plan, but not flagging really tough measures like rationing, knowing that that could inspire more panic. So trying to strike a balance. Max.
Mark Riley in Canberra. Now to Michael Hammond in State Parliament. Michael, the Premier wants Australia to take back control of its energy future.
Max, David Crisafulli believes that for far too long Australia has leaned too heavily on foreign supply and it's left our country exposed. He now wants us to get back to drilling, refining and storing more fuel here at home, arguing it's key to strengthening our national security and giving Australia greater control of its own destiny. The Premier has also renewed his calls for a fuel dashboard giving real-time visibility over fuel supply levels, imports and reserves.
To have different levels but not explain to people what is in the country and what's coming across the seas doesn't fill people with confidence. Considering we're well under 50% at the moment, that's a lofty ambition, but let's just say it'd be good to control their own destiny.
Now, it is unclear how much support there is among other states to ramp up local fuel production. Sarah?
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, Rockstars, and Albo in his infinite wisdom has decided to halve the fuel excise tax. I don't see that doing us any good because the petrol stations are just going to price gouge anyway. What a joke, Rockstars. Anyway, let's roll the clip.
Good morning everybody, Dean here. Welcome to Australia, where the parasites give you a 50% discount on the theft. It's fantastic. So when a bank robber goes into a bank and says, listen, I'm gonna only take half the money. The old saying, give me all of the money. No, when you're Albo and it's the fuel excise, give me 50% of the money, give me half the cash. Because fuck you people, there's no way in the world I'm gonna remove all the money we steal from you. We're only gonna remove a portion of it because you're whinging far too much for our liking. And let's be fair, that's the only fucking reason they're doing it. Now, a few people have said to me, it's got to be the Trump thing, the Trump thing, the Trump thing. Please tell me why most of the other countries that have had fuel price spikes have gone up 16% and we're up 38%. We're going up 38% because these fuckers are absolutely jerking off in the corner going, how good's this? We're going to make everybody drive electric vehicles and electric trucks and we're going to get our 15-minute cities without having to fire a shot. And that's what they're fucking doing. And just to make it even more interesting, the Liberal Party, who are one of the most useless, they are dead on arrival. Anybody still voting and supporting the Liberal Party, even if I like you, seriously, wake up to your fucking selves. They've just dumped Moira Dooming, who's one of the most credible, competent and capable fucking MPs in Victorian Parliament. If she's got any brains at all, she's now going to be the new Victorian leader of One Nation. I have no credible evidence to support that claim, but that's what I'd be doing if I was Moira Dooming, because she will fucking romp it in down there, and Victoria needs all the fucking help it can get. I'm hoping that Tim Quilty can get back in. I'm hoping David Limbrick can stay in. I'm hoping we can get a couple of other fucking really solid people down in Victoria, because that joint's a fucking disaster. And here's what the Liberal Party do. Oh, fuck. We've got an MP that's performing really well, extremely popular, not only in her electorate, but Australia-wide. We're going to ditch the bitch. And because she's too racist, sexist, homophobic, or whatever the fuck else they're throwing at Moira Dooming these days, she's an MP that actually has some principles. Heaven fucking forbid, we can't have that. So we're going to roll in some Indian bloke that nobody's ever fucking heard of. Good fucking job. You people are fucking retarded. And then Andrew Hastie. Now, Andrew Hastie, you might remember when the big fucking thing came out after Bondi, and I'm not going to do it, Oh, fuck, I did it. Why does everybody hate me? You're all a bunch of cunts. He didn't say it like that. He said something about us all being keyboard warriors, sooks and crybabies because we didn't pat him on the head when he betrayed every single one of us. Hasty, you are a fucking mongrel dog. That's where you're at in life, son. You will sell your grandmother for political gain. It's now absolutely on the table. And you've come out today and go, if we don't sort it out, if we, Canberra, don't sort it out, Pauline Hanson's going to tear the whole fucking system to pieces. If that doesn't showcase that, one, there is a uni party, they are in it together, and they absolutely hate the fucking rest of us, that's the exact statement that you need. So anyone looking at Andrew Hastie and still thinking that he's worth 10 cents out of $1, You fucking got rocks in your head and I can't fucking help you. Andrew Hastie's just proven himself to be one of the least qualified people to be in Australian Parliament, because we're sick and tired of liars and spineless cunts who fucking will sell our grandmothers, your grandmothers, and our children's future up the river. And everything he's done in the last 12 months has indicated that he is absolutely the man that will send everybody up the river. He will burn the boats just to keep elected, just to stay in power and to keep that machine alive. Fuck it, everybody have a great day, Christ. I don't know, I wish I could. One day I want to do one of these videos with some good news for you. Let's see how we go. Obviously, and by the way, congratulations to all the One Nation success down in South Australia. I'm not a One Nation member, but currently they are the most important political party in this country. Not because I think they're right all the time or I agree with them on everything, but they are helping drag the shit back. And that's very, very valuable in this time.
Okay, rock stars. And because Australia only has 2 oil refineries, we have no way of producing our own fuel. We depend on other countries. So this is quite embarrassing. America's decided to help us out by shipping some fuel over here, which is very good of them, but you know, I would really like it if Australia can produce their own fuel. You know, it's getting pretty ridiculous, guys. Anyway, here's Tobyville.
The US are sending tankers of diesel to Australia. Now, this is a list of every fuel tanker currently on its way to Australia. And yes, you heard correctly, things are so grim for Australia right now that it suddenly makes sense for tankers to be sent nearly halfway round the world. Not even from the west coast of the US. That wouldn't be quite so insane. These ships are coming from Louisiana through the Panama Canal to Australia, carrying much needed diesel supplies. Now, to be clear, they're not sending us crude oil that we would have to refine ourselves. We don't have the spare refinery capacity. They're sending us ready-to-use fuels that can go straight into our pumps. Thank you very much, America.
Okay, rock stars. And you know how the news is saying we're in a fuel crisis, there's panic buying. Don't buy into it, no pun intended. It's just fear, and it's not necessary, guys. If you look down here, this is how much fuel we got currently, and this is how much fuel we got back in 2018 under Malcolm Turnbull. And now we're spreading fear and panic, guys. So let's relax. Let's have a laugh. Check this out.
I begin by acknowledging this is the Shut up! Oh, look, I'm just so overjoyed. I've just come out of my 5th cabinet meeting today, and you wouldn't believe what I've done. I've saved Australia, and the fuel crisis that I said didn't exist a couple of days ago is over. And only a Labour Prime Minister with an IQ below room temperature could achieve this historic outcome. Now, of course, this backflip has nothing to do with the recent polls that shows that I'm about as popular as an egg and bacon McMuffin during Ramadan. Now, my good friend Alan Joyce only sent me this letter the other day saying, I wish you could dry fist me as well as you're dry fisting Australia. Now, this 50% fuel excise reduction is only going to be in place for 3 months. By that time, just about all the truckies and farmers will be out of business. And anyway, all the petrol stations will continue their price gouging, which is going to cancel out this 50% excise reduction in only a couple of weeks. I've been travelling in the car. But don't worry, we're doing it just as tough as you are. I just received over my desk yesterday Chris Bowen's $200,000 travel expenses claim, which really he has to be commended for, because my travel expenses claim was about $1.5 million, so Chris has done really well during this fuel crisis.
No credibility.
Now, this 50% fuel excise reduction Does it include those petrol enthusiasts in the Northern Territory who like to fill up with their wine casks instead of their jerry cans? They'll all be given a Bunnings voucher so they can purchase some methylated spirits instead.
None all.
So there you have it, guys. There's no need to congratulate me. I know that I've pulled Australia out of the shit again, and everyone can just get back to life as normal, which is not being able to afford to pay your rent or your mortgage, your energy bills, or afford your groceries. And you may as well cancel your Easter holiday while you're at it, because God knows you won't be able to afford that either. And as you know, I've been terribly overworked with having all of these meetings where we all have free lunch and dinner and sit around smelling our own farts. So I think I might take a few days off now. I think Jody and I will fill up the taxpayer-funded BMW limousine with some 98 and get my chauffeur to drive us to the Barossa Valley to buy some wine before all the grapevines die because there's no fertiliser. And anyway, the stupid bastards can't afford to transport the grapes anywhere, so I shall be able to pick up a case of grains at a bargain basement price. Jody's a coastie. She's a proud coastie. So I don't know what you're all whinging and whining about. Life's pretty good if you're a taxpayer-funded parasite.
You fucking dog! Fix it!
Oh, mate, don't say that. Bruce Springsteen! Bruce Springsteen! Peter Dutton! Bruce Springsteen!
Okay, Rockstars, so that is a wrap, guys. Do your best to be safe out there. Have a wonderful Easter. And don't be divided. Stay united. That's how we win, guys. Take care.
Master, what is the secret to eternal happiness?
Do not argue with stupid people.
That's it? I don't think that works.
You are right.